Over the last week, tens of thousands of people have taken to the streets in Myanmar, demonstrating against the recent military coup. Police officials have deployed tear gas, water cannons, and even fired rubber bullets to dispel the demonstrations. Reports suggest that at this point of time, a woman who was present in the protest has been grievously injured by being shot in the head with live ammunition. But why are people protesting in Myanmar? And how did this all begin? On Monday, February 1st, Myanmar's military declared a national emergency and detained the civilian leadership of Nobel Laureate Aung San Suu Kyi and President Myint. This was a coup against a democratically elected leadership. And while this isn't the first time that the government of Myanmar has been toppled by the military, it's a political crisis that marks the end of the country's short stint with being a democracy. The Parliament of Myanmar was about to have its first session after the elections of November 8th. Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy party had achieved a landslide victory in the election, winning 83% of the seats. However, the military refused to accept the results of the election, alleging that there had been widespread voter fraud. On the day the parliament session was to take place, armed forces surrounded the area and detained top leaders of the democratic government. The military went on to suspend almost every television broadcast, cancelled all domestic and international flights, and shut down telephone and internet access. One of the only channels allowed to run at the time was owned by the armed forces. As Myanmar plunged into military rule, a news presenter in the channel cited the 2008 constitution of the country, which permits the military to declare a national emergency, thus legitimizing the coup. Police officials in Myanmar have filed several charges against Aung San Suu Kyi. The charges include breaching of import and export laws and the possession of illegal communication devices, walkie-talkies, apparently, which were found in her home. This isn't the first time that she has been detained by the military. Between 1989 and 2015, Aung San Suu Kyi spent almost 15 years in detention. It was during this period of detention when she became a symbol of resistance against the military regime of Myanmar. But the Nobel laureate and leader, who was once hailed as an outstanding example of the power of the powerless, soon became a spectator and even a defender of the same military's genocidal atrocities against the Rohingya population. What's interesting is that in 2018, Suu Kyi described her relationship with the generals in her cabinet as not that bad, and went on to say that the generals were in fact rather sweet. But while her reputation has suffered internationally, she continues to remain hugely popular with the people of Myanmar. And it is not just the elections that showed this, it is also the protests that have erupted in the wake of her detention. For the last 5 days, demonstrators have been pouring out onto the streets of Myanmar, but authorities have announced that action would be taken against them. Authorities have also said that there had been violations of the law by protesting groups using the excuse of democracy and human rights. Military Commander General Min Aung Hlaing, who is now the country's newest leader, gave a televised speech on Monday. He made no mention of the unrest, but further repeated the claims of voter fraud. He also said that the military junta would conduct a new election in a year's time. His government has now imposed a curfew and banned the gathering of more than 5 people. The anti-coup demonstrators, however, have defied the bans and called for civil disobedience. And while there is growing defiance in the country despite the police action, there is also fear of the demonstrations being met with deadly force as they have in the past.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.